Hello friends, lecture number 4, derivatives, and as the topic proceeds, you'll find that it is going to be more and more interesting, more and more complex, and more and more concepts are going to come. Today's lecture, that is lecture 4, we will be concentrating first on the strategies which are there, that is option strategies, and once we cover that, we will be taking up additional topics. So today's lecture focuses mainly on option strategies. For this, I will require you to keep your PDF file ready of your notes, and I will be explaining directly from there. Page number 156, I will be starting with, that is option strategies. Okay, so today our main focus on option strategies. We have done one option strategy in the last lecture, and that is the straddle. So we will see that along with other strategies which are available for us and when to use what strategy. Okay, so let us start with lecture 4. We start first with page number 156, the first option, that is called covered call option. All the option strategies are very important, and we will be doing them one by one. The first one is called as covered call option. First of all, covered call writing. Whether you are buying or selling, that is important. And when I say that it is covered call writing, it means that I am writing a call option. I am selling a call option. So I am selling a call option. Let us try to understand what we are talking about. Covered call writing means what? Call writing means selling a call option. So I am selling the call option to you. I am selling the right to you. What type of right? Call. To buy or not to buy. I am selling the right to you, whether you want to buy or not to buy. So since I am selling a call, selling means short call. Short means what? Sell. So I am selling a call option. When I am selling a call option, I am giving you the option that you decide whether you want to buy or not to buy. Now if you decide to buy, if you decide to buy the share, if you decide to buy the commodity, then I have to sell that commodity too. To sell that commodity, I should be having the stock of that commodity, otherwise I will suffer a loss. Followed, I will be buying at a higher price and selling to you at a lower price. So what I do is I cover the call, hedging the risk. Same way, I am going to cover the call option. By doing what? By buying the shares in advance. Buying means what? Long. So it is long stock, short call. Long stock, short call. Okay? So in this particular option, when do I use the strategy of covered call writing? When the investor believes that, the stock offers scope, stock means the shares, offer a scope for a small appreciation in the price of that share, and therefore will buy the stock at the prevailing price. So why I am buying the stock now? Because I feel that there is a possibility, there is a scope that the value of the stock may increase. So I may buy the stock when the price is 100 rupees. This is current market price, spot price. Okay, 100 rupees spot price. Because I am expecting that the price is likely to increase to 110, 120, 130, 140 and so on. So suppose the price increases to 140 and you decide to buy, and I enter into a call with you at, let us say, 110. The prices start increasing from 110, 120, 130, 140. Now you decide to buy. When the market price touches 140, you decide to buy from me at 110 strike price. So what you will do? You will buy from me at 110 and sell at 140. You have bought the call option. You will buy from me at 110, sell at 140. Make a profit of 30 rupees. Now when you are buying, you will buy from me now. So I must have sold at 110, but I purchased at 100. So I also make a profit of 10 rupees. Otherwise what will happen? When the price has touched 140, I will have to purchase at 140 and sell to you at 110. You follow what I am saying? So this is to avoid this from happening. I'll explain the example again. Okay, I'll explain the example again. I am selling a call option, selling a call, and you are buying the call. Strike price is 110. Market price increases from 110, 120 and it touches 140. When market price is 140, you decide that you are going to exercise the call option. And you will exercise the call option at 110. That means you will buy from me at 110 and sell in the open market at 140 and you make a profit. Suppose I have not purchased the shares at 100. What would have happened? When you say I want to buy, when you say that you want to buy, I have to sell at 110. But to sell at 110, I should have a share. So what I will do, I will go to the market at that point of time and buy it at 140 and sell it at 110. Instead of that, I have already purchased it at 100 and I am selling at 110. So I don't suffer a loss. I make a profit, small amount of profit. You make more profit, I make less profit. But both of us make profit. That is a strategy. But if I am writing a call option and I don't do anything, if I just simply write a call option and sit quietly without doing anything, what will happen? This will not be there. So I enter into a call option, I sell a call option at 110 and at 140 you decide to exercise the option. So you decide to purchase from me at 110. I don't have the share. So what I have to do to sell the share to you at 110, I should buy at 140. So I will be buying at a higher price and selling it to you at a lower price. But instead of doing that, if I already in advance, I purchase the share at current market price of 100 rupees. Even if I have to sell it to you at 110, I don't suffer a loss, I make a profit. That is called as long the stop, short the call, or covered call writing. Achha, you will say that, sir, in this case both the parties are going to make profit. Yes, both the parties will make profit. Because now on this transaction, I will charge you some premium also. Let us say I am charging 2 rupees premium. So for me, the total profit will be 10 rupees here and 2 rupees here. Because I am going to receive, I have sold the call to you. So my share of profit is 12 rupees. You are going to purchase at 110, sell at 140. So you are making a profit of 30 rupees. Minus 2 rupees. So you are making a profit of 28 rupees. So you make profit of 28, I make profit of 12. Both of us make profit. But what is the difference? You may decide not to purchase it when the market price is 140. You may decide to wait. Okay? You may decide to wait. And this price may increase up to 160. And at 160 you decide to purchase. So you will make a profit of 110 minus 160. That is 50 rupees profit. 50 minus 2 premium that you have paid. 48 rupees profit. So as the market price increases, your share of profit will increase, but my share will remain constant. Because I can sell only at 110. I can sell only at 110. Followed now, because strike price is 110. So my profit will remain 12 rupees only. So if the prices increase by large amount, then I stand to lose the profit. I stand to lose the profit if the prices rise sharply. Okay, so this is called as a covered call writing. Any difficulty with this? Okay, so for me, if the transaction is going on I enter into a transaction with you. What is going to be my result? My result will be that my profits will be huge. My profits will be limited. Profits will be limited. And since my profits are going to be limited, my loss of profits will be more. Loss of profits, because I could have sold it from 100 to 160, I could have sold it for a profit of 50 rupees, 60 rupees. But I am not going to get 60 rupees profit, I will get only 10 rupees profit. So my profits are limited, but my loss of profit is more. So loss of profit, I take it as loss. So my losses are huge. So how does the diagram come for this? Now diagrams are very important. Sometimes they ask you to draw the payoff diagram. So you should know how to draw the payoff diagram. How to draw payoff diagram? I'll show you. Just a rough one. This is the market price, x-axis, this is y-axis. Now, for me the profit is 10 rupees, which is going to be fixed. After a particular point of time, it will be fixed as the market prices start rising. And the losses are going to be huge. So I will have this as the losses, indefinite losses. It is going to continue. Losses will continue. Okay. So limited profits, and what is the limited profit? 10 rupees. Unlimited losses. So this is going to be the diagram for my covered call writing, which is given to you on the next page. Just look at the diagram. Profits are limited and losses are unlimited. Correct? So that is called as covered call writing. Now we have something called as a protective put. That is the second one. Protective put. Protective put, what do we say? We say long the stock, long the put. Buy the share and buy the put option. Long the stock means buy the share. Long, buy. Stock, share. Buy the shares and buy a put option. When will I do that? I will do that if I feel that put option is always purchased when I feel that the prices are going to fall. Last lecture we have done this. Call option is purchased when prices are expected to rise. Put option is purchased when the prices are expected to fall. So I will be expecting a downside fluctuation, that means a decrease in the value of the shares. So I purchase a put option. Okay. So when I purchase a put option, I'll give you a small example there. What will happen? On the basis of that, we'll have a diagram here. What is the diagram showing? Limited loss, but huge profits. Unlimited profits. Limited loss. Loss is limited. Loss is limited. But profits are huge. So that is called as a protective put. Buying a share and buying a put option. Okay. So when I buy a share and I buy a put option, so what will happen? If the prices start falling, I will exercise my put option. I will sell my share. But to sell the share, I should have a share. Therefore, I have already purchased one share and kept it ready. Backup. So it is like a covered put only, but we don't say covered put. We say covered call and protective put. So the terms we have to get familiar with. Okay. So when will I enter into a covered call writing? I will enter into a covered call writing when I feel that the prices are likely to increase. Then I will enter into the strategy called as covered call writing. But if I am expecting the prices to decrease, a downside, then I go for a protective put. That means I purchase the share and I purchase the put option. Point is clear. Okay, so that is a protective put option. Now let us go to the next one. Next one we are done actually. I will again explain it to you. Straddle position. Long straddle. A straddle involves, what did we say in the last lecture? We said that a straddle strategy means that I am buying one call option and I am buying one put option with the same exercise price, strike price, same exercise price and the same expiration date. Okay? When do I do that? I also told you that. When will I do that? I am expecting the prices to increase or decrease. I don't have a definite idea. If I have a definite idea, I will go for option strategy 1 or strategy 2. Strategy 1 means what? That I am expecting the prices to rise. So it is a covered call writing. Strategy number 2, if I am expecting the prices to fall, I will go for a protective put. But now the situation is, markets are very volatile. One day it is suddenly increasing, one day it is suddenly decreasing. So markets are volatile and suddenly the prices are going, haywire. One day the market increases by 2,000 points, the second day it falls by 3,000 points. So I do not know which way the market is going. I am confused. But I know that it is not going to remain stable. So when I have this feeling that prices are going to increase or prices may decrease, but by a large amount, it is going to fluctuate widely. If it falls, it will fall, it will crash by 3,000 points. If it increases, it will increase by about 2,000, 3,000 points. So it is not a small fluctuation, it is not 100 points and 250 points like that. It will increase by huge number. So the share prices are going to fluctuate widely on either side. Or it may so happen during the day, at the starting, when the markets open at 10 o'clock, share prices suddenly jump. By the time the evening 3 o'clock comes, all the prices fall. So wide fluctuations are there. Then in that case, I buy one call option to protect if the market prices increase. If the market prices increase, to protect, I buy a call option. Market prices decrease, put option. So I will buy one put option. So one call option to take care of the increase, one put option to take care of the decrease. So I am covering myself from both the sides because I do not know which side the market is going to explode. Correct now? So I enter into a straddle strategy. Let us go through that example that is given. We buy one March call at 310 strike price, premium of 21 rupees per share, and we buy one, this is a call, and we buy one put option at strike price of 310, same strike price, at a premium of 42 rupees per share. Both I am buying, buy a call, buy a put. Since I am buying both, I have to pay premium for both. 21 plus 42 is equal to 63. So net outflow of cash is 63. Now what will happen if the prices fluctuate above 310 and below 310? So I've taken a range of values. Spot price I've taken from 220, this is the strike price. If it increases beyond 310, so it will become 320, 340, 360 like that. If it decreases, it may go up to 220 also. Now let us see what happens. We want to see the net effect because I told you that if the prices remain stable, I will suffer a loss. I will make a profit only when the prices fluctuate, either upwards or downwards. Either upwards or downwards. Okay, now see how it is going to work. If the market price, I am looking at only call option now. I have got one call option at 310. When will I exercise the call option? I will exercise the call option when the market price is more than the strike price. Yesterday also we said the same thing. Last lecture we said the same thing. When the market price increases beyond the strike price, then I will exercise call option. So market price is 320, then I exercise the call option. You can see this. It starts from here. Market price is more than 310, then only I'll exercise the call option. So what will I do with the call option? I'll buy at 310, sell at 320, make a profit of 10. So value of call, intrinsic value is the profit. So I buy at 310, sell at 320, make a profit of 10. I buy at 340, I buy at 310, sell at 340, make a profit of 30. Buy at 310, sell at 360, make a profit of 50. Buy at 310, sell at 400, make a profit of 90. If it is below 310, I don't exercise the option, I let the option lapse. But premium has been paid. Net outflow of cash is there, 63 rupees. Achha, when do I exercise a put option? I exercise a put option when the market price is less than the strike price. I exercise the put option when market price is less than the strike price. So market price is less than strike price, 300, 280, 260, 240, 220. What do I do in the put option? When I say exercise put option, I sell. I sell at 310. I buy at 300. Sell at 310. Buy at 300. Make a profit of 10. Buy at 280. Sell at 310. Profit of 30. Buy at 260. Sell at 310. Profit of 50. Buy at 240. Sell at 310. Profit of 70. Buy at 220. Sell at 310. Profit of 90. So if I exercise the put option, it will be only when the price are less. In that case, what will happen? 90 minus 63, still I make a profit of 27. 70 minus 63, still I make a profit of 7. And like that. So here it is a loss. Okay. Now, if it is beyond 310, then it is 10 plus 63. 10 is the profit minus 63 outcome. This is all the premium cost minus. These are all minus figures. Outflow of cash, no? To minus. 10 minus 63 minus 53. 30 minus 63 minus 33. 50 minus 63 minus 13. 70 minus 63 7. 90 minus 63 27. Now beyond this, that is if the prices further decrease below 220, profits will go on increasing. You can see that 727, 37, 57, 107. If the price decreases beyond 220, the profits will be innumerable. Same way, if the prices increase beyond 400, again the profits will start becoming innumerable, unlimited profits. So either way fluctuation, either it falls by a large margin or it increases by a large margin, I'll make huge amount of profits. But if it is within that range, that means if there is only a small fluctuation, then this will be the loss. So it should not, for me to make a profit, the market should not be stable. Because my strategy is for fluctuating market, fluctuating in a large scale. Okay, so when that happens, it is called as a straddle strategy. So those who had entered into a straddle strategy before COVID happened, they must have made a huge amount of profits. Or those who entered into a, let us say, protective put option, they must have made huge profits. Because markets fell after COVID. So they must have sold at a higher price and made profits. So that is why we call them as strategies. What do we call them as? Strategies. Okay. So that is a straddle. So what is a straddle? A straddle means that I am going to buy one call option and I am going to buy one put option with the same expiration date and with same exercise price. Same expiration date and same exercise price. Okay. Now you have what is called as, so you can see here. Investor who wants to take a position in an underlying asset that is highly volatile does not know whether it will rise or fall in the short run. It may either increase by a large amount or decrease by a large amount. I do not know what is going to happen. So I enter into a straddle. Why will the writer enter into an option with me? Because according to the writer, there is no fluctuation. If I am buying a strangle, that means I am going in for a strangle, buying one call option and buying one put option. I will buy from whom? From you. You are the seller. You are selling the right. Why will you sell that right? Because you are having opposite view. I told you, na, buyer and seller of option should have opposite views. I have the view that it is going to fluctuate. You have the view that no, sir, it is going to remain stable. So you have written the option. I have bought the option. Correct? Now, what is the figure going to look like? This is the figure. Why? Loss is only at one point. Maximum loss is at one point. So if you see that figure in the table that you are having, the maximum loss was 63, if I am not mistaken. So that is 63. If the prices are, this is the market price. This is the strike price. If the market price goes on increasing 320, 330 like this, what is happening? My profits are increasing this way. It is increasing. And if the markets are falling, the prices are going this way, less than 310, this is more than 310. Less than 310, then also my profits are increasing, unlimited profits. Correct? So that is a diagram for strangle. Let us see strangle now. Strangle. It is similar but with a small point of difference. In a strangle, an investor buys a put and a call option with the same expiration date but with different exercise price. There it is same exercise price, here it is different exercise price. So strike price for a call option and the put option will be different. So let us see the example. Buy a call option, 110 strike price, premium of 8 rupees. Buy put option, strike price 90 rupees, premium of 6 rupees. 8 plus 6, 14 rupees net outflow of cash. Okay. Same way I prepare a table like this. Let us go through the table. So the 2 points are, one is 90, 100 rupees is for the call option and 90 rupees is for the put option. Strike price. When will the call option be exercised? When it is more than 100 rupees. So I will buy at 100, sell at 110, make a profit of 10. Buy at 100, sell at 114, make a profit of 14. Okay, 10, 14. Buy at 100, sell at 120, make a profit of 20. Buy at 100, sell at 130, make a profit of 30. Correct? When will I exercise the put option? When the price are less than the strike price of 90 rupees. 90 rupees here. I will sell at 90, buy at 80, profit of 10. I will sell at 90, buy at 76, profit is 14. I will sell at 90, buy at 70, profit is 20. Here a profit is 30. Okay? Now, these are all my cost, net cost. Put in this, total premium paid in. $30 minus 14, 16, 20 minus 14, 6, 14 minus 14, 0, 10 minus 14, minus 4, 0 minus 14 is minus 14, 0 minus 14 is minus 14. That means this is the point at which there will be stability. If there is stability, it will be a loss. Same logic, what you have applied for straddle. When do I enter into the strategy? Because I am expecting wider fluctuation and you are expecting stability. So I buy the call option and I buy the put option, but at two different strike prices. That is the only difference, two different strike prices. So if it falls below 60, I make huge amount of profits. If it increases beyond 130, I make a large amount of profits. This will go on increasing, 16, 6, 22, 25 and so on. But if it remains stable, then there will be a loss. That is why we call it a strategy. Strategy. Let us see the diagram. Correct. So this is not exactly V, it is V with a flat bottom. Okay. Now we come to strategy number 5 and strategy number 6. Strategy 5, strategy 6. Strips and straps. Strips. When I say that, there is a band-aid over here, you put a band-aid to your hand and you come for lecture. I say, Arey, that band-aid is looking dirty. Why don't you strip it off? So when you strip off the band-aid, what you will do? You will pull it down. You will not pull it up. You will pull it down. Whenever you strip, you pull it down. Stripping of anything is pulling down something. Let us say that a poster is stuck on your college wall. College wall is there, no wall. So on that wall you stick a poster of your famous hero. Okay? Famous Telugu actor. You put it on the wall over there. I come and say, Arey, who has put this? Strip that poster off. What you will do? You will pull it down. You will not pull it up like this. Isn't it? So stripping means always downwards action, downward action, decrease, downward. So it is decrease. I am expecting the price either to increase or to decrease. Again, the problem is same. Logic is same. I am expecting the price to increase or decrease, but probability of decrease is more than probability of increase. What did I say? In strangle and straddle, I said that there is no guarantee whether the price will increase or decrease. There is no guarantee. It may increase, it may decrease. But here I am saying what? There is a big price movement that is going to happen. But probability of decrease is more than the probability of increase. Probability of decrease is more than probability of increase. So I need more protection on the downward side and I require some protection on the upward side. Protection on the upward side, I buy one call option. Protection on the upper side, I will buy one call option. So buy one call option. But I require double protection on the downward side because the probability of slipping is more, decrease is more, downfall is more. So since the probability of downfall is more, I require double protection on the downfall. That is, I take two put options. So buying one call option and buying two put options is called as a strip strategy. Buying one call option and two put options is called as a strip strategy. Let us see the example. Interesting, no? Things are becoming interesting. How we are planning to avoid all the losses. I buy one call at 310 and buy two puts at 310. Strike price is same. Premium of 21 plus 45, 66 is the outflow of cash. I prepare the table with all the spot prices given from 220 to 380. When will I exercise the call option? When the price is more than when the market price is more than the strike price. This is the strike price. So when it is more than 310, so I will buy at 310, sell at 320, make a profit of 10. Buy at 310, sell at 340, make a profit of 30. Buy at 310, sell at 360, make a profit of 50. Buy at 310, sell at 380, make a profit of 70. Clear? Let us come to put option. When will I exercise put option? When the prices are less than 310. I will buy at 300, sell at 310, make a profit of 10 rupees, but I have got two put options to 10 into 220. Buy at 280, sell at 310, 30 rupees profit per option, two options, 30 into 260. Buy at 260, sell at 310, 50 rupees profit, 50 into 200 rupees, because there are two puts. There are two puts. Buy at 240, sell at 310, make a profit of 70, 70 into 2, 140. Buy at 220, sell at 310, 90 rupees profit, 90 into 2, 180. Then as usual. So what has happened? If the price increases here, 320, 340, 360, there actually it will be losses. Only at this particular stage I will start getting profit, 380, and thereafter it will be profit only. Okay, the profit will start after 380. So I can, instead of writing this, I will write it like this. Profits will be more after you go beyond the 380. But here the profits start immediately at this stage. Correct? And the profits you see are much more over here than the profits here. Double protection on the lower side. Double protection on the lower side. Correct? This is a strip strategy. Okay. What is a strap strategy then? Strap strategy is like strip strategy. Strap your shoes, strap your boots. When I say that, you pull your shoes towards your leg now, or you remove the shoes. Pull your shoes towards your leg. Strap your boots, strap. Come on. So it is pulling the shoes towards you, towards your leg. Correct? So I am expecting the prices to fluctuate, but the probability of increase is more than decrease. Probability of increase is more than the probability of decrease. So I require a double protection now on the upper side. Double protection on the upper side. That means I will have two call options. And one protection on the lower side. So one put option. Strike price in 310. $42, $42, $84. Same thing you find now in the table. There is more profit if the prices increase. There is less profit if the price decreases. So you are having different strategies for different purposes. Correct? Up till here it is clear. Then we have other strategies which are there. Important strategies, butterfly strategy. I'll teach you that butterfly strategy also. In a butterfly strategy, what happens is, we are going to use 4 identical options with same expiration date on the same stock, but with different exercise prices. Different exercise prices. Okay? And how it is going to work? There are 4 ways in which a butterfly option can work. Look at the 4 ways here. Which means that there are 3 prices that we are going to have. There are 3 prices that we are going to have. Let us say the 3 prices are 120, 100 and 80. Maximum 120, minimum 80, center price, we call it as intermediate price, as 100. First way in which we can do it, buy 2 calls at intermediate price, that is buy 2 calls over here. And write one call one call above, one call below. Buy two calls in the intermediate price and write one call above and one call below. So whatever you are doing in the center, opposite has to be done at the extremes. Okay, and the center you have to give more weightage. So there will be two calls or two puts at the intermediate price. And whatever you are doing at the center, the opposite has to be done at the extremes. So you buy two calls at the center, at the intermediate price, write one call above, one call below. You buy two puts at the center, write one put above and one put below. Write one put above, one put below. Buy two puts at the intermediate, write one put above, one put below. If you are writing two calls in the center, then you have to buy one call above, one call below. If you are writing two puts at the center value, you have to buy one put above, one put below. This way, we can create butterfly in four different ways. In four different ways. I'll give you the four ways. I'm just explaining to you. Take the same figures. 120, 100 and 80. So I can prepare a butterfly with calls. I can prepare a butterfly with put options. Call option and put option. There are two ways in which I can prepare with the call option. Okay? Buy two calls at intermediate, write one call above and one call below. Or write two calls at the intermediate, buy one call above, buy one call below. Same way put I can prepare in two ways. Buy two puts at the intermediate price, write one put above, write one put below. Or write two puts in the center. In the center value always has to be 2 only. Write two puts in the center and buy one put above and buy one put below. So four ways in which you can prepare this. So centermost there is one value, one above, one below. Clear? That is butterfly spread. That is butterfly spread. Now, contour, what do we do? Contour strategy. It is expansion of butterfly. Expansion of butterfly. Here I have two values. Here I have four values. 120, 140, 100, 80. So two intermediate values are there, 120 and 100. I buy one call. I buy one call. Intermediate values. What I do at the intermediate values, I do the opposite at the end values. Write one call and write one call at 80. Buy one call each at 120 and 100. These are the intermediate values. Okay? And do the opposite at the extremes. Or I write one call at 120, write one call at 100, buy one call at 140, and buy one call at 80. So write in the intermediaries and buy in the extremes. So instead of one, you are having now two intermediaries. So buy one of each. Write one of each extremes, or write one of each in the intermediaries and one each at the extremes. What you are doing with call, the same thing you can do with put option also. So instead of buying one call option here, buying one call option here, and 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 call option here. Same thing I can say, buy one put option at the two intermediate values. Write one put option above, write one put option below. Write one put option at the two centermost values, and buy one put option above, buy one put option below. I don't have to study anything if I know how to do this. Write the figures, intermediate, whatever you are doing, opposite you have to do at the two ends. Finished. Strategy is over. I develop my strategy of learning the strategies. I develop my strategy for learning the strategies. Excellent statement. You have to develop your strategy for studying what I teach you. Okay, so these are the eight strategies which you have got to know, so that application of any of this comes, you are able to solve the problems. So I will be doing questions based on this also. We have done one question based on straddle. So we will be taking up a few more questions, and then we'll see how these type of strategies are also applied in our practical problems, so that you get used to solving problems on option strategies. This is the main part of your chapter, option strategies. Point is clear? Okay, so option strategies is the thing that we have done today. Now after this I would like to start with the questions now. So I will be starting with questions from your practical exercise. We have stopped with the first three questions, first three problems. We'll continue with that. Okay. Now to start with the problems, we are going to do problems on valuation of options. We are going to do problems on what is called as binomial distribution and drawing the binomial tree. So problems to be based on that, we require to know how to value the options. Okay. So valuation of options is what we are going to plan now. Now in valuation of options, we have to know, come to page 148. Page 148. Okay. Now in valuation of options, valuation of a call option, I have told you how to value a call option or a put option. We are just revising that, and then we'll go to some particular models which are supposed to be followed. And in the valuation of a call option value or a put option value. Normally when we say that options, I told you that there are two types of options. One is American option, which can be exercised on or before the expiration date. One is the European option, which can be exercised only on the expiration date. So we are talking about now valuation of an option. Let us start with first a call option. A call option, suppose you have entered into a call option with a strike price, or let us call it as exercise price. We are used to both the terms now, exercise price. Suppose the exercise price is something like 110, okay, and the market price on the date of exercise is 120, 125, let us say. So will I exercise the call option? Yes. I say that I will exercise the call option whenever the market price is more than the strike price or the exercise price. So if I exercise the call option, what will I do? I will buy at 110 and I will sell at 125. So what is the value of the call option? The value of the call option is equal to 125 minus 110, that is 15. This is the value of the call option. Correct? Now, It means that it is the difference between the market price as on the date of expiry. So I can call this as, instead of market price, I can also call this as spot price on the date of expiry. S0 will mean spot price as of now, current market price. S0 means current market price. S1 means the market price as on the date of expiration. Okay, so different terms which are going to be used. It is nothing but adjustment of the terms as per the theory. We have to know. So this I can write it as 125 minus 110. I can write it as E, that is spot price S1 minus the exercise price E. So S1 minus E is equal to the value of the call option. Okay, so if the call option is on that expiry date, if the market price or S1 is equal to 0, then, or S1 is equal to 110, then, or S1 is equal to 90, then the value of the call option will be 0. In this case, value of the call option will be 0. Why it will be 0? Because it is not going to be exercised. It is not going to be, there is no profit. No profit means 0 profit. Correct, no? So you can see that value of the call option will be the difference between the spot price on expiry date S1 and the exercise price. Therefore, I can write that value of the call option is S1 minus E. If on the expiry date the spot price is less than or equal to the exercise price, then we are not going to exercise. The value is equal to 0. So what is the value of the call option? Either it is 0 or S1 minus E. On the other hand, value of a put option will be the difference between exercise price. It will be E minus S1. E minus S1 or 0. E minus S1 or 0. Okay. So this we already know. That is on the expiry. But if it is before expiry, then it is the difference between the current market price and the present value of the exercise price. Whatever is the strike price, present value of that as of today. So value of the call option. And same way with the value of the put option, it is present value of the strike price minus the S0. Okay, now that is all taken care of. That is all what we have done up till now. But what we are going to do, which is required for solving of problems, very important, examination type questions which are going to be asked. It will be based on a replication model. Okay, now what is a replication model? A replication model means buying a risk-free investment and buying a call. It is not a strategy, it is a model. Okay, now there are two things that can happen. That option is in the money or option is out of the money. We are not considering whether option is at the money. We are not considering that, whether the market price is equal to the strike price. I am saying that if it is not going to be exercised and if it is going to be exercised. And this is a part of binomial distribution. This is a binomial distribution type 1, question type 1 question. Okay. Now, binomial distribution means what? First of all, when I talk about binomial distribution, it is basically, bi means what? Bi means 2. It means that there will be 2 possibilities minimum that may happen. We have done problems where we have taken that as on expiration date, suppose market price is 220, 230, 240, 250 like that. But here we are considering just 2 values. Okay, that suppose it is 100 and suppose it is 110. So I am considering 2 values instead of lot of values, number of values. I am considering just 2 values. That is why it is binomial. Okay, let us see the example. You will understand that. Case 1, option is in the money. Now you have to know, when do I say that option is in the money? In this type of problems, in binomial problems, so when do I say that option is in the money? Very important, very, very important. I say that option is in the money when at both the possible market price, I told you now, I am going to give you two possible market prices that may arise on the expiration date. Now, if at both the market prices I am going to exercise the option, then I say it is in the money. For example, let us see, a stock is currently selling for 24. This is the spot price as of now. The spot price as of now, I call it as S0. In a year's time, it will either sell at 25 or 30. Okay, strike price I have not given it. Using the stock replication model, find the value of a call with an exercise price of 22 rupees. So if exercise price is 22, market price is possible on that particular date, or I can call it as S1 values on that particular date, is equal to 25 or 30. Will I exercise? If it is 25, will I exercise? Yes, because market price is more than the exercise price, call option will be exercised. If it is 30, will I exercise? Yes, because again market price is more than 22. That means in both the cases, I will be exercising the option. Then only I say that option is in the money for these type of questions. For both the given values, I will be exercising the call option. Then only I say that it is in the money. If it was one was 30 and one was, let us say, 20, then I will say no, this is not possible because exercise price is 22. Only if market price is more, then I will exercise. So in this case, I am not going to exercise. In this case, I will exercise. That means at 20, I will not exercise. So one of the two, I am not going to exercise. Then you don't say this option is in the money. Followed. So when is option in the money? Option is in the money when both the values which are given to us, I will exercise the call option. Okay. Now let us see. There are three steps over here. There are three steps over here to calculate the value of the call option. What is the first step? First step is to see whether it is in the money or not, to confirm whether it is in the money or not. I say fine. Option value expires on the date. If the stock finishes at 25, if on that expiration date the value of the market price is 25, then I will buy at 22, sell at 25, profit is 3. If the stock finishes at 30, then I will buy at 22, sell at 30, profit is 8. So in both the cases I am going to exercise them. So I say that it is in the money. Now step number 2. These are the steps that you have to follow when you are solving the problem. Step number 2. Step number 2 says compute risk-free investment. Compute risk-free investment. How to calculate that? Risk-free investment is the present value of exercise price. Present value of exercise price. What is the exercise price? Exercise price is 22. The present value of that using risk-free rate of interest. What is the risk-free rate of interest? 10%. Okay. So 22 divided by 1 plus k. How do you calculate present value? Divided by 1 plus k. So 22 divided by 1.1. That means my risk-free investment is of 20 rupees. Okay. Now I calculate value of call option. Value of call option. So what is the formula? S0. I told you now, if it is before the expiration date. If it is on the expiration date, there is no problem at all. We follow the normal procedure. If it is before the expiration date, then value of the call option S0 minus present value of E. What is S0 now? I told you S0 is 24. What is present value of E? I have just calculated. To 24 minus 20, 4 rupees is the value of the call option. Is the value of the call option. This is if option is in the money. Okay. Now, what will happen if option is out of the money? What will happen if option is out of the money? When do I say, first of all, when do I say option is out of the money? When either of the two values given to me. I am not going to exercise the option. So I go with the example that if this is, instead of 25, it is 20. and this is 30. Then at 20 I am not going to exercise the option, at 30 I will exercise the option. So when this happens, then I say it is out of the money, out of the money. Okay, so now we are going to see a case where it is out of the money. In the money we have seen the steps. What are the steps in the money? If this amount is in the money, then at both the market prices, possible market prices, I am going to execute. If it is out of the money. Case 2. Option is out of the money. Let us see the example. Same figures I am taking, only the market values are going to change, and the market value or the excess price will change. Currently selling for 24 S0. Correct? It will either sell at 25 or 30. These are the two most possible market prices, S1, possible values. 10% stock yield, risk-free rate of interest. Using stock replication model, find the value of a call with exercise price of 26. Now exercise price is 26. Okay. What are the possible values of S1? It is either 25 or 30. When will I exercise the call option? A call option will be exercised only when the market price, S1 is market price, when the market price is more than the exercise price. So here I am not going to exercise, here I am going to exercise. Such a situation is out of the money. If both I can exercise, then it is in the money. If both I cannot exercise, then it is out of the money. If one also of the two is out of the cannot be exercised, it is out of the money. That is for these type of problems on binomial distribution type 1 problems. Okay. Now here there are 4 steps to follow. And what are the formulas that are going to be in? That is very interesting. Formulas. First step is same. First step is same. Okay. Now, option values on the expiry date. If the stock finishes at 25, I am not going to exercise because I will have value of the option as 0. If the stock finishes at 30, then value of the option is 4. Okay. Now, second step is calculate a risk-free investment, which is the present value, not of the exercise price, not of the exercise price, but present value of the lower limit. Here what did we calculate? Present value of exercise price. But actually if you go to see, it is the same, no? It is same. Lower limit. I will tell you how it is same. How it is same. 3 values are known to us, exercise price and the 2 possible market prices. If I write them in order, it is 22 first, 25 and 30. 3 values. These are 2 market prices. This is the market price and this is the spot price, exercise price. Okay. What did I do? I took present value of exercise price. So I took present value of this. Isn't this the lower of all the 3? Isn't this lower of all the 3? Yes, it is the lower of all the 3. By default, it is lower of all the 3. Are yes or no? Follow now? Now come to this. Present value of the lower limit. 3 values are given to me, 26, 25, 30. If I write them in order, it is 25, 26 and 30. I am taking present value of lower limit. So in both the cases, case 1 and case 2, in the money and out of the money, the second step is calculating present value of the lower limit. In case 1, lower limit by default is exercise price. By default it is exercise price. And in case 2, it is not by default. Exercise price is 26 here. But in both the cases, we are calculating the present value of the lowest of the 3 values given. Okay. So now the lowest is 25, 25 divided by 1.1, it comes to 22.73. 22.73. Step number 2. So step number 1, step number 2 for both are same. Step number 3 changes and step number 4 changes for case 2. What do we do in step number 3? Compute the number of calls to be bought using the formula. Calls to be bought equals to spread in the stock prices upon spread in call option values. Stock prices, possible stock prices, 30 minus 25. And accordingly, what are the option values? 4 minus 0. Okay. So 30 minus 25 is equal to 5. 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. 5 upon 4 gives me 1.25. Number of calls to be bought is 1.25. Then step number 4 comes. So these are new steps. Step number 3 and step number 4. How to calculate value of call? To calculate value of call, I use the formula S0 is equal to present value of lower price plus number of calls bought into the call option value. S0 is given to me 24, present value of just calculated 22.73, and 1.25 is the number of calls to be bought into CO or C0. So when I solve this, 24 minus 22.73 is 1.37 or 27. 1.27 or rather 2.27. Yes, 2.27. 1.27, sorry. And then when I substitute and I get this, I will get the value C0 as 1.02. Okay. So in this way, I have got the value. So what are the steps now? The steps you have to remember. If it is in the option, in the money, first calculate option values. Second, calculate present value of lowest value, that is exercise price. Third, difference between the two, S0 minus present value of exercise price, is your C0. Over here, first two steps remain the same. Third step, compute the number of calls to be bought using the formula spread in stock price upon spread in call option values. And then to calculate value of the call option, S0 is equal to present value of lower price plus calls bought into C0. Now what is the C0 actually? What is the C0 actually? Did you understand? The C0 is nothing but the call option premium. This is the call option premium. How much premium to be charged? Option values are given over here in the first step. This is 3 and 8 option values. How much premium to be charged for the call option? Actually, the name is not correct. It should not have been value of call option. It should have been the price of call option. Because that is a price. The premium that you are paying, that is a price. Okay. So value of call option is actually the call option premium that you are calculating. Call option premium that you are calculating. Fine. So if I am having this, so I have calculated in first case it is 4, and in second case with 4 steps I have calculated the value of the call option, and I have got the premium to be collected, premium to be paid 1.02 per call option. Okay. Now this is called as replication model. Now here what I am saying properly. Now I am saying that if it is out of the money, if the option is out of the money, there is one more method of calculating the value of the call option. One more method, and that is called as stock equivalent approach. What is it called as? Stock equivalent approach. Okay. So if you go to sit and calculate, this is the stock equivalent approach is only if it is out of the money. It is not possible to use this method if it is in the money. So if an option is out of the money, there are two possible methods: stock replication model and stock equivalent approach. If it is in the money, there is only one method, replication model. If it is out of the money, then there are two methods possible: replication method, replication model, stock equivalent approach. Now, stock equivalent approach, what new steps will come? Exercise price of a share is 180, E is 180. Current market price S0 is 162. Risk-free rate R is given 10%. Stock price from now will be either 165 or 195. Exercise price is 180. So one of them we will not exercise. So it is out of the option, out of the money. So in one case I get 0, 165 minus 180. I told you the intrinsic value cannot be negative, so it will be 0. And here it is 15. Step number 2, we will have two parts. In step number 2, we will have two parts. First, calculate the number of shares to be bought. In the earlier method, we are calculating number of options to be bought. Now we are calculating number of shares to be bought. Number of shares to be bought. If you see the formula is a reciprocal of that. Reciprocal of that. What did we have in that formula? Spread in stock prices in the numerator and option values in the denominator. Spread means different. Spread in option values in the numerator and share price in the denominator. This is the difference. Reciprocal. So it is 15 minus 0 in the numerator and 195 minus 165 in the denominator. So it becomes 15 by 30, that is equal to 0.5 shares. Okay. Now, then we calculate one more thing, that is amount to be borrowed. Formula is present value of number of shares to be bought multiplied by lower limit minus total payoff on the downside, as in step number 1. Step number 1. Number of shares to be bought is 0.5. Number of shares to be bought is 0.5. Into lower limit. What is the lower limit? 165. Minus total payoff on the downside. What is the total payoff on the downside? It is 0. Downside means lower value. Lower value, it is 0. And it will always be 0. Because, why? Because it is less than the strike price. And in call option, when it is less than the strike price, I do not exercise the option. So it is always going to be 0. So this point will always be 0. So present value of 0.5 into 165 is 82.5. 82.5. How do I calculate present value divided by 1 plus k? So divided by 1.1, it comes to 75 rupees. And then I calculate value of the call by this formula. This is the formula for calculating value of the call. That is a premium. Value of shares bought. How many shares you are buying? 0.5 shares. Into 162 is the current market price. What is 162? S0. Minus bank loan. Bank loan is 75. Amount to be borrowed. So when I do that, I will get this value. 6 rupees. Okay. Now, if they specify in the question which method, you have to follow that method. If they say replication model, you have to follow that method, first method. If they say the stock replication method, then you have to follow this method. But if they don't mention anything, you can follow any method. But when you can follow any method, what you will do, you will always follow the easier method. Easier method is always the replication method, because here there are complications arising. Sir, will the answer be the same? Answer will be the same. Try it out. Answer will be the same. Either way you take it, the answer will be the same. Okay? So this is type 1 problem of binomial distribution. Type 1 problem. So in binomial distribution, basically it means that we are having two possible values. Correct? In that, this is the first type of problem, where if it is in the money, you can solve the problem by replication model. If it is out of the money, you have got two options. Either solve by replication model or you solve by the stock equivalent approach. If nothing is given, either method can be followed. Okay, once again I repeat, if it is in the money, then only and only stock replication model, replication approach. If it is out of the money, then there are two approaches, either replication method or the stock equivalent approach. If nothing is given, follow replication model. If they specify, then go for stock equivalent approach. Followed? So this is what I want you to understand. This is what I want you to follow. Okay, absolutely clear here? Okay. Now we go to type 2 questions of binomial distribution, where there is a diagram to be drawn, binomial distribution. So let us go to the next page. You have single period binomial model. Next page, 151. Single period binomial model, case 1. Okay, clear? Now, example 5. Here what happens is, they may ask you to draw the binomial tree. Okay, binomial tree. So, I will add over here binomial tree. Single price model. Suppose the current market price of a stock is 100. Current market price, also called as S0, and will increase or decrease. Now it is increase or decrease. It is not two possible values. So see the difference in the question. It may increase or decrease by 10%. That means it may go up or it may go down by 10%. By the end of year 1 from now, assuming that the risk-free interest rate is 8%, calculate the value of the call option if the exercise price is 100. Draw binomial tree. Now whenever such a question comes, even if they don't ask you, draw the binomial tree, because you will understand what you are doing. You will understand how to solve the problem. Okay, now how to solve the problem? I draw the diagram first. Diagram, this is called as a node. This is called as a node. Okay, so current market price. So the first node I write current market price, 100 rupees given to me. Now possibility of increase is 10%. So 100 plus 10% will give me 110. 100 plus 10%. 100 minus 10% will give me 90 rupees. Correct? So two possibilities. Now what is the probability of the two possibilities? I want to know that. So for that I do three steps. First I calculate U value. U is equal to 1 plus 10%. That means upper value. 1 plus increase. Increase is 10%. So 1.10. Then lower value. D is equal to 1 minus 10%. So I get 0.90. R is equal to risk-free rate of interest. So it is 1 plus the risk-free rate of interest. That is R 8% here. 1.08. And then I calculate the value of P. Now what is this P value? The P value is probability of increase. Probability of increase. Okay, probability of increase. So what is the formula for that? R minus D, that is 1.08 minus D, D lower value is 0.90 upon U minus D, that is 1.10 minus 0.9. I'll get that, I'll solve it, I'll get 0.9. That means 90% probability of increase. So that 0.9 I write over here on the arm of the increase, and 0.1 the probability of decrease. Okay. Now what I do is I go to the extreme nodal values which are written here. Extreme nodal values. I will call this as nodes. Do you know? Okay. Now, what did I calculate? I calculated at 10% increase what will be the market price. At 10% decrease what will be the market price. Now this is what option? Call option or put option? It is call option. When will the call option be exercised? When the market price is more than the strike price. What is the strike price? Strike price is 100. So when will I exercise? When it is 110 or when it is 90? When it is 110. So when I exercise at 110, I buy at 100, I sell at 110, I make a profit of 10, and that profit of 10 I write it in bracket, box bracket. Okay? Here, I let the option lapse. So if I let the option lapse, the value is 0. After calculating, and both these are put in box brackets. Followed how we get these numbers now. Okay? Now, to calculate the value of this particular point, we'll give it names. We'll call it as A, we'll call it this as B, and we'll call this node as C. To calculate the value of the call option at A, what do I do? Probability into the value of the option. 0.9 into 10 plus probability 0.1 into 0. 0.1 into 0. Did you get this? Probability into value of the option plus probability into value of the option divided by R, that is the risk-free rate of interest, 1.08. Because you are calculating the present value, Whenever you are calculating the present value, it is 1 plus k divided by 1 plus k. When you do that, you get 8.33. So this is the value of the option at point A. This is where we are having 1 year calculation to be done. We can have 2 years calculation, 3 years calculation, like this. Up till here it is clear. We'll do one more problem, one more question. Nothing to worry. Time is there. Lots of time is there. Understanding is important. Come to example number 6. Current price of one stock is 50. Expected that stock price after 1 year, this again 1 year problem, will be either 60 or 40. That means either it is going to increase or it is going to decrease. See the nature of the question. Either it is going to increase or it is going to decrease. Calculate the value of the call option on this stock if the exercise price is 50. Find the probability of the stock price increase and decrease, also assuming that risk-free borrowing rate is 10%. What is the difference? In the earlier question they had given so much percentage increase, so much percentage decrease, 10% increase, 10% decrease. Now instead of giving you the percentage, they have given you the value. We'll calculate percentage. So 60 minus 50 is 10. And 10 by 50 is 20%. So it is either increasing by 20% or it is decreasing by 20%. 60 minus 50 is 10. 40 minus 50 is also 10. Because 50 is the current market price. So from 50 either it will increase to 60, 20%. Or it is going to decrease from 50 to 40. Again it is 20%. So either it is going to increase by 10, 20% or decrease by 20%. Step number 1, calculate U, D and R. U is equal to 1 plus increase, 1 plus 20%, 1.2. D is equal to 1 minus 20, that is 0.8. R is equal to risk-free factor, 1 plus risk-free factor, 1 plus 10%, 1.1. Okay. Now to calculate probability of increase, R minus D upon U minus D. R is 1.1 minus 0.8 upon 1.2 U minus D, 1.2 minus 0.8. So probability of increase is 75%. So what I do? I prepare the diagram now. Current market price 50. Probability of increase 75. Probability of decrease 25%. Two market prices given 60 and 40. Current market price is 50. Exercise price E is equal to 50. Sorry. When will I exercise the call option? When it is more than the market price is more than the exercise price. I will buy at 50, I will sell at 60, make a profit of 10. Here I will not exercise the option because the market price is less than the exercise price. The value of the option is 0. So what is the value at this point, at point A? It is 0.75 into 10. What will it be? It will be 0.75 into 10 plus 0.25 into 0. 0.25 into 0 divided by R, that is 1.1. Correct? Let us see. 0.75 into 10 plus 0.25 into 0 upon 1.1. So 7.5. Okay? I'll get this as 1.1. And value of the call option is 6.82. Followed? Now, let us come to 2 years. Two-step binomial model. It is called two-step binomial model because there are 2 years involved. Okay? Price of a stock is 100 rupees now, current market price. In 2 years' time, it may go up by 10% or down by 10% in each period. Risk-free interest 8%, strike price 100 rupees. Steps are same. U is equal to 1 plus 10%, 1.1. D is equal to 1 minus 10%, 0.9. R is equal to 1 plus 8%, 1.08. Correct. Now, to find out the values of probability of increase. How to calculate probability of increase? R minus D upon U minus D, I'll get 0.9. So probability of decrease is 0.1. So 0.9, 0.9 probability of increase, 0.9 probability of increase. Probability of decrease 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Okay, so probabilities are written. Okay, now from 100 it can increase to 110, 10% increase, or from 100 it can decrease by 10%, so it can be 90. Okay, from this 110, second year 110 plus 10%, 121, 110 plus 10% is 121. 110 minus 10%, 110 minus 10% is 99. Now, here it is decreasing by 10%, so it is 90. 90 plus 10%, 90 plus 10% is 99. 90 minus 10% is 81. Method is same. Now, strike price or excess price, 100. When will I excess? I will excess when it is more than the market price. When the market price is more than the strike price. Here I will not excess. Here I will not excess. So here it is 0. Here it is 0. Here it is 0. Here it is 21. Value at point B, at this point B, 0.9 into 21. 0.9 into 21 plus 0.1 into 0, 0.1 into 0 divided by 1.08, you get 17.5. So this is 17.5. Okay, value of the option at C, 0.9 into 0 and 0.1 into 0, both will be 0. So value of the option is 0 only. Value of the call option at A, 0.9 into 17.5 and 0.1 into 0 divided by 1.08, 14.58. So instead of 1 year, you are having 2 years calculation. For this is binomial distribution with 1 year, 2 years. Up till year you have followed. So what we have done today is a lot of theory, and all these theories are very important, very, very important. This is the core part of derivatives, options, strategies of options, option strategies, binomial theorem. There is one more to come. Rather, there are 2 more theories to come. One is Black-Scholes model and one is put call parity theory. So lot of things are there. I told you it is very interesting, very, very interesting. At the same time, it is a little bit complicated also. Okay, so what is required is total focus. When I am teaching, when you are listening to the lectures, total concentration, total focus, and rewind the lecture. One lecture, once when you are hearing it, it is not sufficient. Rewind the lecture. Go through the lecture again. Doesn't matter if it is going to be, you are spending 1 hour more, but it should go inside your head. The concept should go inside your head. So binomial distribution, I have done 2 types of questions, type 1 and type 2. Type 1, where 2 values are given to you, possibilities of 2 values. So either it is in the money or out of the money. If it is in the money, there is only one method of solving, a replication model. If it is out of the money, there is replication model and stock equivalent approach. Either of the 2 you can solve. Then type 2 problems in binomial, there is a possibility of increase, there is a possibility of decrease. Then you will draw the binomial tree. Either it is a 1 year tree or a 2 year tree. Problems are same. First you calculate U value, 1 plus percentage increase. D value, 1 minus percentage increase. Then the R value, 1 plus risk-free rate of interest. Then calculate probability of increase. Formula R minus D upon U minus D. Once you get probability of increase, automatically you will get the probability of decrease also. Write it down, draw the diagram, write it down. And then you will be able to understand what we are doing, how it should be done. Okay, so these are things that have to be done by you thoroughly. You have to ensure that you are doing it absolutely thoroughly, so that you understand the topic of derivatives. Difficult problems are going to come in examination, mark my words. 25 marks is going to be of derivatives. So we end the lecture here. In the next lecture, I will be taking up all the questions based on this. So be sure that you are thorough with lecture 4, lecture 3. All these things are interrelated. Okay, and then we will start with problems based on this in lecture number 5. Okay, so till then, stay at home, stay safe. God bless you.